Western and Southern Kentucky. This is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
The shortage continues. Good evening, I'm Justin Case. Several water main breaks and leaks in Perry County over the last several days led Hazard City officials to issue a water supply emergency. Several parts of the county are still without water, one of them being the Leatherwood community. Today I went to the Cornettsville Fire Department, and as they handed out cases of water to people in need. Water is only one of the basic needs of life, but isn't really something you think about until you have to pick it up on a dolly.
You don't realize how important water is till it's gone.
Charles Bush is picking up water for his family. He remembers the outage that struck this area just last year for weeks on end.
Last year it seemed like it was about 2 weeks. I don't know for sure, but hopefully in a day or so they'll have this one back.
While it might affect your life in more ways than one, Bush is staying positive and thankful for the free water being handed out.
You don't have bath water and you don't have water to cook with, but we're appreciative of people doing this where we can have water.
And local teachers here are also staying positive, hoping this helps students who might miss classes otherwise.
We want our kids to come to school. Of course, we made it through the day. Everything went pretty well. A lot of kids stayed home, but I think it's really important that they come. I mean, it's nothing that we can't make it through the day.
Firefighters will be handing out water each day the outage continues. Brittany Williams says this helps make the situation a little easier.
I mean, you know, it'd be nice to be able to wash a few dishes. Of course, we have to take a bath, all that good stuff. But other than that, everything will be okay.
Finding positive ways of looking at inconvenient situations. Cases of water will be handed out to anyone in need at the Cornettsville Fire Department. Every day the water is out. They are open from 4 to 8 each afternoon, except Tuesday they will be open from 5 to 9 in the evening. Hazard City officials say without any new setbacks or breaks, water could be restored as early as Tuesday evening. With any leaks or breaks, it could be delayed until the end of the week. And like we just heard from a local teacher, classes are continuing at Leatherwood Elementary School. Educators are working to make sure students do not fall behind during a time when schools sometimes close down. Officials at the schools are finding creative ways of making sure students have access to hand washing stations and outdoor bathrooms, all while the school does not have running water.
They actually enjoy getting to try something new, something cool. I think every student in the buildings wash their hands at least 10 times. They like the new systems.
When it comes to cooking, Perry County school officials brought in their mobile kitchen and a few extra people to help out. The principal says there have been no major issues at the school because of the outage, but teachers do hope they have running water again soon. Police in Lincoln County are still searching for an SUV who struck a man that had been involved in a crash, then took off. A crash Friday night shut down US 27 for 12 hours and launched an all-out search for the hit-and-run driver. Police say 40-year-old Trampus Jennings was thrown from his car. When he was at a stop sign, he was then struck by another car that took off. Coroner Ferris Markham says witnesses told police Jennings was seen moving in the roadway when he became the victim of a second collision. Kentucky State Police are investigating. 2 Kentucky brothers froze to death after their vehicle broke down in bitter winter weather. That's according to investigators. 72-year-old Obie Fugit and 67-year-old Roy Fugit were found Saturday by a family member outside their home in Boone County. The truck was found more than a half-mile down the road. Family members last spoke to them on January 29th when temperatures were below freezing. Both died of hypothermia.
And I hope most of you got out to enjoy the nice weather. A little bit earlier today, we've seen those clouds and those rain chances increasing. Temperatures, they weren't that bad today. Reached a high of 65 degrees. That low of 46 is actually right near our average high for the day. We're usually right around 45 degrees. We hit that early this morning. We're nowhere near that record. Pretty close, though, of 69 set back in 1991. Satellite and radar shows those clouds and those showers increasing this evening. But as we head into those overnight hours, we'll continue those scattered rain chances. But but the good news is most of them have gotten out of here. So as we scan the skies now, showing some light showers in some areas. Like I said, mostly scattered for tonight. I think we are going to be dry until we head into your early Tuesday. Temperatures, they're still not that bad outside. Those mid-50s to upper 50s, some spots to those lower 50s down into the Cumberland Valley, but we'll really remain in those lower 50s tonight. And as we head into the next couple of days, good news is we'll continue to see those warmer temperatures. Rain chances will continue. A little bit of bad news there. Then we're going to have another cold front coming to the mountains, cooling off though by the time we get to the end of the week. We'll break down that full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Paige, thank you. An emergency session of the Fiscal Court was called early Monday morning in Breathitt County. The session was to address the county judge executive Jeff Noble for, quote, repeated violations of Kentucky revised statutes and a blatant disregard for law and ethics, end quote. That never happened after a closed-door discussion between the 4 magistrates and the judge. He says the meeting blindsided him.
Yeah, the 3 of the magistrates came in and gave me a paper, and it had 9 o'clock on it, but it was already 8:40. When they came in for an emergency meeting, they have to have an hour notification, so they moved the meeting up to 10.
None of the 3 magistrates that called the meeting wanted to talk with us on camera. We were not told what happened in the executive session. Last year, the Martin County Sheriff's Department faced cut after cut as the sheriff tried to trim back the budget. This morning, he was forced to lay off another employee and cut office hours in half. Now the community is worried about a spike in crime rates. Sheriff John Kirk says the decisions are not easy to make, but he is doing what is necessary.
You know, it takes money to run a sheriff's office. You have to have manpower. Manpower costs money, and we don't have any money.
Yesterday, members of the Zion United Baptist Church in Martin County took up $500 to donate. Sheriff John Kirk says Kentucky State Police will now need to take over a majority of their calls. Many high school officials across Kentucky are quitting because of hostile fans. It has been a slow decline, but a closer look at the numbers shows a drop-off is picking up steam. 2 main sports are feeling the biggest pinch so far. Miranda Combs continues to investigate the referee crisis.
Get out of the lane, get out of the lane.
They look forward to these days all year. Some are so serious they hope their shots are a game changer for their lives. Problem is, so do their parents.
40, red.
To an embarrassing degree.
And we have no respect for authority, and you as an official are keeping my kid from signing his letter of intent this afternoon.
Commissioner of Kentucky High School Athletics Association Julian Tackett is so fed up with the families verbally and sometimes physically abusing officials that he co-wrote an op-ed saying, "Stop it, parents, you're ruining the game."
Our main concern is if we get enough officials who just decide they're not going to take it anymore, the kids aren't going to get the participation opportunity.
And his concern is warranted. Look at the numbers from 2012 through last school year. There's been a steady decline in registered officials. There were 313 less officials over that time period. Now take a look at this. The most troubled sport by far when it comes to having enough officials is basketball. That sport is down 111 refs over the last 2 seasons. And the next biggest drop is football. 77 officials have quit over the last 2 seasons. Every sport except soccer, volleyball, and wrestling had lost referees. And what's most alarming when looking at the numbers is the drop-off from last year to this current season. The KHSAA has already lost 308 officials. That's nearly the same amount over the previous 6 seasons. The takeaway, the slow decrease is picking up speed, which is why the KHSAA is taking action.
The environment at the games is the #1 problem and controllable problem with the registration. So let's try to get a hold of that, because that you can get your arms around.
All they're asking is parents keep their hands to themselves and their mouths closed, just like the children are taught in school. In Clark County, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
You can meet Benny Snell Jr. in person this weekend. University of Kentucky's all-time leading rusher will be touring the state, meeting fans and signing autographs. Snell will be at the Corbin Arena from 11 to 1 p.m. this Sunday. For $30, fans will receive an 8x10 photograph, a picture with Benny, an autograph on the item of their choice, and an entry into a raffle for a pair of signed game cleats. There will also be t-shirts, towels, and other Benny Snell Jr. merchandise available for purchase. Coming up at 11, how neighbors are working to help the homeless here in eastern Kentucky.
And rain chances continue, and so do those warmer temperatures. We'll break down that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes.